What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. I feel great. Thank you very much for stopping by once more. I appreciate you. Oh, the United States say they will hold accountable the junta in Niger for the safety of democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. So the new power in Niger will be held accountable for the safety of the ex-president. Before we get to that, let me say hi to you. I hope you're doing great. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I see you, South Africa, Zimbabwe. I see you, Tanzania. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you, Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Malawi, Somalia, Ethiopia, the UK, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Jamaica, the Caribbean in its entirety, Tobago and Trinidad. Thank you so much. I can't name everybody. It's just crazy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. If it is your first time, I'm sure you're going to love this. Please join us, join the crew so we can be bigger. And before we start, let's just all do this. Is this okay? Is this done? So we can make our voice bigger. Please do this. Awesome. So we are talking about Niger once more. Niger, let's put the map right here so some of our brothers can understand. Niger is a country in Africa, okay? This is Niger. Niger is going through a very difficult time at the moment. As we're speaking, if you're not informed, please have a look at these videos. You're probably going to catch up very quicker, okay? So very quickly, what's happening in Niger is Niger has been run for many, many years by funny president. By that, I mean president that have been working for the interests of Western nation. Instead of working for their people, getting their people better, the president have been working for the interest of big multinationals, big companies, and all these other big nations, these wealthy, rich nations, to the detriment of the people. So the people have had enough of it. People of Niger have had enough of suffering. Being a country that produces so much uranium but having no electricity at all makes absolutely nonsense. So they decided to topple the president and take the power, take the lead of the country themselves. People who topple the president are people of the military. They're basically people of the presidential guard. People of the presidential guard took over the power. Many Africans are happy about that. Many people of Niger are very happy about that. However, the ex-president, whose name is Mohamed Bazoum, was a very good friend with the Western nation, very good friend with the United States, very good friend with the French, very good friend with the Germans and many other countries, but not so good friend with his own people. Now, he is currently out of power, and a new group of people are leading the country. They are all soldiers. Now, this is what the world says right now about Niger. The United States of America. 1. United States will hold the junta that took power in Niger accountable for the safety of the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum, his family, and detained member of his government, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Thursday. So they say they will hold the new government accountable for the safety and the mental state and the biological state of the ex-president. We know that the ex-president was not killed, he was not hurt, he was kept in his palace in fair enough condition. We can't describe with precision, nobody knows. But the United States felt that it is important to say, we're gonna be holding you accountable for the state of the president. So should anything happens to him, you're gonna be called into justice, which I found absolutely fair. Everybody needs to be treated appropriately. Doesn't matter what situation you are, you should be presented to the court of law to discuss your situation. But the question remains, why is it so much of an interest to the United States of America? So they say the United States joined ECOWAS in calling for restoration of constitutional order in Niger. Blinken stayed in the statement. So they want constitutional order back in Niger. Number 2. Why is Niger important to the Western nation? Obviously, you're going to ask yourself questions that why are these people so interested in this country? Because usually we know when they come to Africa, it's to... I'm just joking. So Niger is geographically the largest country in Western Africa. Yes, it's the biggest country. Number 2, politically, it had been seen as an example of relative democratic stability in recent years, while its neighbors, Mali and Burkina Faso, had already succumbed to military coup. So they found it as an example of democracy in Western Africa. We're talking here Western opinion, okay? So it is important to them because politically they found that it's one of the most stable countries democratically in Western Africa. Now my question is this: what is their definition of democracy? We all know that the Western nation's definition of democracy is basically you do everything we ask you to do, you're cool. It doesn't matter what you do to your people, whether they're suffering, that doesn't matter. As long as our companies are making money, our people are engaging with your people and getting as much substance and resources as they can, you're cool. You're a very democratic country. But as soon as you decide not to be the yes sir, how much high you want me to jump, sir, then you're not a democracy anymore. Then you're a dictatorship. They said here, Niger is an example of democracy, unlike its neighbors, Mali and Burkina Faso. Mali and Burkina Faso, what do they have in common? One thing, they toppled the president. Why do they topple the president? Because the presidents were not working for the people. Their presidents were working for Western nations' interests. Are we together? So if you work for your people, you are not a democracy. If you're looking for the interest of your people, you're not a democracy. If you're trying very hard for your people to be wealthy, to do good, to benefit of the riches they have naturally, you are not a democracy. You are only a democracy when you cooperate well with us. Okay, so when you let our companies work in your land, get money, get resources, then you are a democracy. It doesn't matter what you've done to your people. So to them, politically, they find Niger a very stable, democratically elected country. Number 3, strategically, Niger hosts French and US military bases. Yes, they have their soldiers on the ground in Niger. France has about 1,500 military personnel. The US has just about 1,000 military personnel. They have a presence, they have an airport, they have a means. So, you know what that means? It means, let's say we have an issue with, with certain country, Uganda. We can fly from Niger and go bombard Uganda. We don't need to come from the US, okay? I'm just giving you an example. We have an issue with South Sudan. We can just take a flight, and throw whatever we have to throw in South Sudan. We're not necessarily flying from New York or Jersey. So Niger hosts French and US military bases and is seen as a key partner in the fight against Islamist insurgents. Okay, so from what we understand, they are there to fight Islamist insurgents. Where did these people come from? That's the good question. Before the death of Gaddafi, they were not there. Who organized the death of Gaddafi? That's the big question. See, after Gaddafi's death, that's when the terrorists came. Who brought the terrorists? That's a good question. In fact, the United States Department described Niger as an important linchpin for stability in the Sahel and a reliable counter-terrorism partner against various Islamist groups linked to either Islamic State or Al-Qaeda. So Niger, for them, Niger only with the President Bazoum is a key partner for them to fight terrorists in Africa. Economically, why is Niger important? Economically, it's rich in uranium. Niger is one of the richest countries in production of uranium. It produces 7% of the global supply. The radioactive metal looms so large in the country economy that one of the grandest road in capital is named Avenue of l'Uranium, so the Avenue of Uranium. So uranium is used for many things, but to cut it short, you can use uranium for energy, for electricity. France takes 30% of its electricity from uranium from Niger. Yes, France, Paris. Uranium of Niger. In the meantime, people in Niger are load shed. Yeah, they have no electricity. Do you understand that? Does that make any sense to you? Why? Because President Bazoum is there, he worked nicely with the French people. So they love him. He's democratically elected president. He is democracy, not you. When you start claiming your own things, you want to use your own uranium for your people, you are not democratic. It's the other guy who lets us use your stuff that is democratically elected. So however, Niger's people consistently rank as having the lowest standard of living anywhere in the world. Doesn't make any sense to you. These people have riches, they have means, they have abilities. They cannot use that for themselves, but for other people's prosperity. So the coup has been done in Niger. President Mohamed Bazoum has been toppled. France. What is the international reaction to the coup? The former colonial power has been stern in its condemnation against military takeover. Obviously, they're condemning the takeover because France was the colonialist country that colonized Niger, and they have a lot of interest in Niger. Yes, just to be fair, I don't think you're gonna like it if wherever you get your bread from, somebody comes and take over from the person you get your bread from. That just makes sense. Goes with the territory, doesn't it? A statement by the French Foreign Ministry said President Bazoum was the country's sole leader, adding that France does not recognize the authority resulting from the putsch led by General Chiani. They don't recognize the putsch. They still recognize the toppled president, who's ousted already. It's added that France reaffirmed in the strongest term the clear demand of international community, calling for the immediate restoration of constitutional order and democratically elected civilian government in Niger. So they must reinstate the old president. Those French people are saying. I mean, people talk like this is their country. Like, is this your country? Is Niger your country for you to choose who you want to have as the president? That doesn't even make sense. Like, when last did an African country decide who's going to be French president? I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. U.S. reaction. Antony Blinken has called for the president's immediate release. So they clearly like the ex-president back into power. Now, the only negative voice, as per them, because this is clearly a Western written document, the only voice in favor has been that of the leader of Russia's Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who has reportedly described it as a triumph for African people. He said what happened in Niger is nothing other than the struggle of the people of Niger with their colonizers. He was quoted saying in a Wagner-affiliated Telegram channel. So colonizers are trying to keep grip on the country, and the Nigerians are fighting very hard to lose grip. So fellas, I think we all understand what's going on. People from Niger are fighting very hard to try to get their freedom, but it feels like there are so many referees, so many people that seem to love the good of people of Niger more than themselves. Doesn't even make sense. It feels like people from other countries know what's best for Nigerian more than Nigerians themselves. Do you believe that? This is crazy, man. Many African countries are very happy with what's happening in Niger. As much as it's not ideal, they want to see fellow Africans do better, have a better life, live with the energy and the power and the minerals and the riches that the Most High has given them, and not survive in poverty like it's always been done for many, many years. Let me know how you feel about this. Please don't leave without leaving your comment. We need to read from you. We want your insight. God bless.